I'm very pleased to be interviewing Bob Shullman, who's president Ipsos Mendelssohn. Bob, thank you for your time today.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me.
So, Bob, let's start with your background. How did you get to where you are today?
Well, looking back, I am one of the boomer generations, post-World War II. Grew up in a nice middle-class family in New York City. Was fortunate enough to go to college. I was the first one with my brother in the family to go to college. Then went on to get a master's in business administration from Stern School at NYU. Spent basically upwards of 10 years with the American Express Company in marketing and strategy positions in the executive offices on the East and West Coast for, I'll call it, traveler's checks, insurance, mutual funds, a multitude, credit cards. I had a great experience there learning how the financial services sector worked. Was recruited by Stanford Research Institute, which is now known as SRI International, and basically co-directed one of their major syndicated studies with 50 or so sponsoring financial service companies. Was recruited from there to head up a group at a small research company that was out of New Jersey. Worked with them for 8-10 years. Wound up starting my own company with another gentleman. Did 16 years. 9/11 occurred. The world changed for a lot of people, including us. For 6-8 months, we decided to keep battling, and then effectively I decided that I wanted to do something differently as the world changed. Joined Mendelssohn in 2004, started up another syndicated service which we ran for 3 or 4 years, and in 2008 Ipsos bought Monroe Mendelssohn Research. I was appointed president, and for the last 3 years I've had the fun and enjoyment of basically working with my colleagues to move the business.
So, you've been at Mendelssohn for a number of years. How has Mendelssohn adapted to the current research environment, particularly after its acquisition by Ipsos?
With the acquisition by Ipsos, we were, I'll say, freed to think about the longer term, I would say. We looked at where we were positioned in the marketplace and came to the realization that we had a very good position to evolve the affluent survey. It's been out there 35 years. It basically was founded by, I was told by some clients who were there, by request of the Wall Street Journal and Fortune. They were looking to differentiate the high-end consumer. So it started in 1977. It was a very short purely media-focused survey. And now with input from many of the advertisers and agencies, we're now a media planning and buying tool as well as a consumer insights tool. So we have gone from one annual survey to a program of surveys where we do this monthly barometer, which has become much more critical to our subscribers than we ever envisioned. We, using this barometer on a monthly basis, poll the affluent consumers' confidence levels. And by doing these surveys of these people, our clients are tied into the mindset of the affluent on an ongoing basis, which in these turbulent and challenging times is very important to them.
And when did you start the monthly polling?
We started that in April of 2009. It came about, it was intriguing. We had just been acquired by Ipsos. We were at a meeting in San Francisco, and the gentleman who runs the media business worldwide asked me, what do we need to do to basically get this going? And I said, with the tipping of Lehman, an annual survey will not be enough. These people, our subscribers, are going to want to know what's going on in the headset of these people. So we started out quarterly, and with some requests from some of our subscribers, we realized we had to do it monthly, and we went monthly pretty much in the spring of 2010, and since then it's become a staple on CNBC, Bloomberg Radio, WallStreetJournal.com, a multitude of media platforms use it as a way to track the points of view of the affluent consumer.
Ad Age just in May reported on a white paper on the affluent market. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Well, that was a very intriguing, I'll call it, new endeavor. Last fall, I guess it was in October or November, one of our clients, Digitas, the largest digital agency in the world, called up and said they were looking at our data and they wanted to use it in a new way that wasn't covered by our subscription agreement. And so we said, well, what are you thinking of doing with it? Well, they wanted to use it for a white paper that Ad Age had asked them to prepare. So we said, fine, so let's talk about it. We went down to the Digitas office, and there were a host of people in the room, and they started showing us a PowerPoint presentation. To our amazement, they had spent 9 months preparing. They had spent 9 months looking at our data, and we found out they had examined 15 potential sources of data on the affluent and luxury marketplaces. We were one of them, and they came to the conclusion that we overall had the best database in the affluent marketplace, and they wanted to use it for what I would call non-ad sales purposes, which was demonstrating their expertise in the affluent marketplace. And I think, as we know, there are many different ways to use our data, many different ways to analyze it, present it. And we said, well, if that's what you want to do, we have no problem with it, as long as you give us the right to review the final document to make sure the numbers you present are accurate, so you don't misportray what we actually have out there. So the white paper was intriguing. We own the data. In that white paper, Digitas owns the analysis, and Ad Age owns the copyright. So it was a fun endeavor for all three lawyers involved.
And